Hello, welcome back to another episode of Sustainability in the Sea. Thank you so much for being here. It's Carissa. I'm your host. This show is produced and presented by FutureSwell, my impact company, and I'm extremely stoked to be talking with you guys right now. I feel like this podcast has been such a bridge to get to connect with you all, and I'm just happy that we stuck with it and we're being consistent. And I hear you, by the way. I saw you guys' responses about wanting a weekly podcast, so I want to rearrange my life this year to be able to give you what you want. Before we get into the show, I want to tell you that we have two really exciting updates. One is that we have released our latest social media series on the FutureSwell channel. So go to our Instagram. You guys know how excited me and Alex are about the social media series. And if this is your first time hearing about it, our social media series are like multiple episode video experiences. It's just a series, but this one that we just released is called A Shark Experience. It's a 3-episode series where we take my best friend Jerry diving with sharks in partnership with Deep Blue Eco Tours, which is an awesome shark diving company here on Oahu on the North Shore. And we film Jerry's entire experience. We film his reaction, we film his fear, we film his perception in real time changing about sharks, and we teach you guys about what he learned. So if you've ever wanted to dive with sharks but you're too nervous, I think you guys will really like that series, because it's something that I know can feel intimidating, and we wanted to take you with it and bring you along. So please go check that out. I would love to hear what you think about it. We love series, and there's going to be more series in 2024. The second is that this podcast, we've been struggling trying to promote this podcast. I've got my own channels. Alex has a full-time job. We are trying to just teach you guys on social media and take you on ocean experiences. And we're not really sure exactly how to be promoting a lot of these episodes. So if you could do us a favor, I would say that sharing this podcast with someone who who loves the ocean would really, really, really help us, because we want to keep it going and we really want it to reach the right people who care about the ocean. So if you know someone who would like this, share it with a friend. It would really be helpful. The second announcement is that our newsletter, The Ripple, which we drop monthly, has incredible jobs this month. Incredible jobs. And if you're not already subscribed, you should definitely subscribe. It's totally free. We just do a roundup of stuff that we've done, stuff that's going on in ocean news, and a job roundup. And there's really good ones. You guys, people are hiring in ocean conservation. I feel like more and more gradually over the course of my experience, but definitely lately. And yeah. Anyway, definitely go check that out. You can find it on our website. This episode is actually the first ever podcast swap that Sustainability in the Sea has done. Lydia and Sarah are the co-hosts of a new ocean podcast called Ocean Stories, and they met through an organization called Ocean Mimic. And I wanted to sit with them and talk to them about their experience getting engaged in ocean conservation, storytelling, marketing, and media, because I'm just super excited when women come into the space and start working in ocean conservation media. It's extremely needed and growing field. So anyway, we sit down with Lydia and Sarah. We talk about their backgrounds. We talk about how they got engaged. We talk about the skills that they think that the field needs, what they talk about on their podcast, how they met, how they want to use marketing for storytelling. And it's overall just a good conversation. And then I go on their podcast, which also got released this week, and they interview me about my work with FutureSwell and as an ocean conservationist and all of the impact projects and advice. And we really get deep, because I think, as Lydia said, we're just bleeding hearts. And so if you also identify as a bleeding heart, this episode might be for you. All right, I love you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Sustainability and the Sea. Sarah and Lydia, welcome to Sustainability in the Sea.
Thank you for having us. We're so excited.
Where are you all tuning in from?
I am in the snowy mountains of Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh, visiting some family. My
Is
dad.
this snowman decor like part of, should it be outside or is it an indoor decoration?
Actually, not to be like that, but it is sort of like a good sustainability story because
Mhm.
it was supposed to be an outdoor decoration, but it's built so cheap. It was totally false advertising, like one of those Facebook ads of like a horrible piece of plastic. So it is supposed to be outside, but it's just it would have blown away or broken in like 5 seconds. So it's inside and he's here, he's jolly,
And
and
he's
it
gonna
is
last
actually
longer.
snowing outside, so he matches the vibes.
Perfect. He's part of the episode. What
Yeah.
about you, Sarah? Where are you tuning in from?
I am in San Diego, in La Jolla to be precise. So, yeah, it's actually storming today, but I am very far from the snow, living the sunny beach life.
I wanted to have Sarah and Lydia onto the show because they recently just started their own podcast called Ocean Stories. And the moment that I was sent it, I was like, absolutely, this is what the ocean needs more of. And I wanted
Oh,
to learn a little bit more about each of you and your friendship and how it all came to be. So, um, I guess let's start with you, Sarah. Where did you grow up in San Diego, and were you always kind of like a water baby, or did you have an early memory in the ocean that connected you to it, or did you kind of find it later in life?
definitely later in life. I am from Germany. I grew up in Germany. I only moved out here a year ago, so I was fully landlocked and didn't really, I mean, we would go on like the yearly vacation.
Uh-huh.
Like for a week each year, but that was very limited to the Mediterranean Sea. And I think I started really falling in love with the ocean after high school because, yeah, as soon as high school was over, I was like the classic, okay, I'm gonna go to Southeast Asia and New Zealand and join every surf camp. And that's low key how it started with surfing. And funny enough, I think the very first surf camp I ever went to, um, our surf instructor was really big about beach cleanups, and I never really heard about it before because that was like back in 2014 maybe.
Mhm.
So we did a beach cleanup, and then I became really interested in that community, and then later on went to Bali where I joined Ocean Mimic, which is like or at least it used to be a big beach cleanup group in Bali and a charity. And yeah, I worked with them for a while, and that's where really like the ocean journey like properly started.
I love hearing that it was that surfing was the gateway. It was the conservation entry point into,
It was, yeah.
that's what we like that's what we need more of in those camps, because if your instructor wasn't like a huge beach cleanup champion or wasn't trying to make it fun for all of you as people who are coming to have fun and connect with each other, then you probably wouldn't have felt like beach cleanups were great.
Totally. And also I feel like being landlocked, we talked about this on a recent episode with rip currents actually, but so many things that are now so obvious or that are always obvious for people that live close to the beach are so new for people that grew up landlocked and that are not really like ever in touch with the ocean, which very much happened to me too. So I was just like not aware. I didn't even like it didn't even occur to me that there was a ocean plastic crisis. I mean, again, it was before it kind of blew up, but yeah, I think it's so important, just like you said, that there's so many entryways, and I'm very thankful that I randomly stumbled across that one.
Yeah, as well as travel, which like opening up your mind to new cultures
Yeah,
and new ways of living. You're just kind of like, well, there are issues that affect different communities differently.
totally.
Yeah. What about you, Lydia?
My entryway to the ocean, I don't even know. I think I've just always loved it. Like
Forever?
going on vacations. Yeah, but I didn't grow up near the ocean at all. I think I just grew up appreciating it because of that. Because you go on vacation, you see the ocean, you're like, yay.
That's
You
how I
associate
was
it with
too.
happy times. Yeah,
It's
but I
just
also think it's just like a personality thing. Like I think some kids are just bleeding hearts. And that was just me as a child. And then you start bleeding for different causes. And then one of those causes happened to be like environmental things because I was a Girl Scout. And then it just kind of went from there. So I feel like it's a mix.
yeah, and you had like a lot of confidence that was built probably through Girl Scouts in nature, which is like,
Yeah, well, that and just service, like thinking about doing service a lot. And we did cleanups in Girl Scouts. So I feel like It's a natural progression.
That's awesome.
The
I know.
ocean.
I really feel like when you're landlocked, everything about the ocean stays special too.
Mhm.
Like when you're young, because it's so
It's
like
like a treat.
fleeting. Yeah, it's a treat, and you're like just begging your parents and to for the next time you get to see the ocean.
Yeah, and I feel like
Absolutely.
it's such a vacation is connected to ocean so often. So as a kid, you're like, we're going on vacation equals we're going to the ocean. So it's just the best thing ever for so many reasons.
Oh, I love that. I also love that you guys found each other. How did that happen?
Oh boy. Let us tell you how it happened. Well, I'll tell you my version of the story.
Okay.
I was working as a content writer for sustainable brands, and I started working for an NFT company that was using like their profits to somehow benefit the ocean.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if that's
Okay.
revealing too much. I don't know if they exist anymore. And through that, I met Emma of Ocean Mimic, and I started working on more Ocean Mimic projects, and then eventually started working for Ocean Mimic. That is where I met Sarah, because she was also working for Ocean Mimic, doing different things, not content writing, but
And were you both like, we've always wanted to start a podcast?
No, this was like a long story, but we started working together, I think in maybe 2020, 2021, probably.
Mm.
Um, actually, fun fact, we've never seen each other in real life, but that's gonna happen in
the
2 weeks
friendship
from
Soon.
now.
story is evolving. Yeah.
It is so funny. Like everyone's always like asking me about Lydia, and I'm like, yeah, I've never even met her in real life. What if you're like 4 foot tall and I don't know? Um, but no, actually it was like a ocean mimic thing, and we had spoken about it with like the ocean mimic, just like the whole organization, if we want to do a podcast. And then I don't know, a lot of things changed. I guess it was also during this whole COVID time, so things were just, people had projects and were on and off. And then at the end of the day, we were like, okay, we really want to do this podcast, and it sounded really fun, and we had so many ideas, so we just hit it off. Yeah, which is really
Totally.
cool. And yeah, ocean mimic is still like part of our marketing and like reaching out to people. But yeah, essentially we were both like super passionate about it, and thought that there was kind of a niche for it, because yeah, there's a lot of podcasts out there that are super in depth about marine topics, which is great, but we wanted to be a little bit more accessible for a broader audience, and actually try to connect with people that maybe do not have a close connection to the ocean, or don't even know about like specific topics, kind of like us, like going
Yeah.
back to the landlocked people, and just yeah, make it fun and chatty, so everyone can join and it's easy to follow.
Yeah, I saw that you guys had an episode that was about was it the North Sea?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so when I saw the promo, I was on North Sea TikTok because
That's
and
so
and I
funny.
it's terrifying. Like I love the ocean and I feel like I have ocean confidence and I'm like watching these videos like this is going to make people terrified of the ocean if they're on North Sea TikTok. So
So
I feel
true.
like those types of like micro trends and conversations that are part of culture and online culture, talking about them and then using them as entry points to like at least get people a little more curious about the ocean is so powerful. Like kudos to you both. Like
Oh, thank you.
I'm so happy and just have more women running ocean stories and creating more spaces for that is awesome.
Yay.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Thank you. That's so
Yay. Yeah.
nice.
What are your goals? You guys are relatively new, right?
Yes, we are about to release episode 10 next week.
You.
Which is
10
crazy.
weeks.
um
I think we have so many goals. It's hard to even answer that question,
Okay.
but it's so related to what you and Sarah just said. Like, I remember this was so long ago. I don't even know if Sarah remembers that we were talking one day about ocean plastics and how when you're in the ocean world, you just sort of assume because everyone around you is always talking about plastic pollution in the ocean that other people like know what's going on. And then we kind of took a step back and we were like, wait, people don't actually talk about this like on a normal, regular daily basis. Some people do, but a lot of people don't. So I feel like one of our overall goals is to reach maybe some of the people that are not talking about ocean plastic pollution every day, but that do just love going to the beach, like whether it's for vacation, whatever. A lot of people love the ocean and they might not know about any of this stuff that we talk
Yeah.
about and learn about in the podcast. So I think one of our goals is just like connecting with those people and talking to them about these topics that otherwise I don't know how, that they would connect with. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like unless it's like being brought up in their day-to-day like experience with content or with people, like how else is it going to be brought up, you know?
Yeah, or just how we were saying that a lot of the ways that people are communicating these issues are so technical, so scientific for a very niche audience. I receive it because I feel I'm like really part of that niche audience, but it's not reaching the broader groups of people that would really care to know about these things. Yeah, I was gonna say I want to know what Sarah would say our goals are.
I feel like I have this goal. It's podcast related, but my big vision goal, Lydia's going to kill me for this. No, I'm kidding. Is I would love to, first of all, keep like this podcast is so much fun and the things we learn is crazy, and I love how it goes in so many different niches. For example, I don't know, we talk a lot about sharks. I'm like so obsessed with sharks, but in kind of like a fear way, so I love to hear it and then get over my fear. Or the Stream to Sea episode that we just had, that's about pollution and like toxins. I don't know, I like how we have like so many different topics, and I hope that we can spread out even more, because I don't know, the longer you do it, the more you realize that the ocean really is connected to so many different things and so many different stories. And it's not just like, oh yeah, I am a turtle researcher, which is great, but I'm just saying there's like so many sub stories to the whole thing, which is great. And I think one of my dreams would be well, this is in the future, but actually maybe starting to also incorporate some videos and actually going to the projects and whatever, go dive with sharks and make YouTube videos about it, because it's one thing to talk about it, but then I feel like to actually experience it. And I don't know, I just have this vision of a bunch of people that reached out about, we have like a shark episode about, whoa, can you actually swim with sharks and all that kind of stuff. So maybe us doing it and showing it even on the next level, like, yes, you can do it, and not actually, like, nothing actually happens to you. So Lydia's like hiding her face. She's like,
no, why would I hate you for that? I love you for that. I want you to push me to dive with sharks. And I feel like we're like the two like non-divers. We're like, yeah, let's like learn how to dive, and showing people like you can learn how to dive if you want, even if you're really afraid like me.
That's the
exactly
other thing.
kind of
Yeah.
like doing the next step and be like, okay, you can actually do it. It's not only the people that come onto our podcast that are like experts in the field. No, you can also do it if you're just one of us quote unquote that don't really, that are not like super comfortable in the ocean, or at least not professional divers. Let's say it like this.
And it's also like the people, they want to see themselves in you, right? And so like if there's someone who's scared and who's listening because they're also scared of sharks, and then they see you go conquer your fear and you cover it and share it with a video, like that is so powerful, right? Because it's instead of like, you know, Shark Week and Jaws and feeling terrified of what you're watching or feeling like it's only a space for experts, you're like carving out, or at least you're just showing, like leading by example, what's possible. That is awesome. You should totally do that. I really feel like that's where it's all going. We started
2024.
2024.
I feel like it's going to be actually a video of me just bawling my eyes out because I'm so scared. And Sarah also being scared, but like trying to encourage me, being like, let's go. And I'm just crying.
No, it's gonna be great.
That's one of our goals.
We for FutureSwell, we brought my best friend out shark diving for his birthday, and I was like, hey, like, we'll, you know, we got this is our gift for you, but like we're gonna record all of it. And he was like, all right, that's fine. And that was him. He's like freaking out on the boat, feeling super anxious when he sees a shark for the first time, and then at the end he was like, you know, I feel good, but I'm like never doing this again ever. And it's like, but he conquered his fear. So
Yeah,
stay tuned. That'll be
crazy.
shared with the world eventually this year.
I was gonna say,
watch
is it up already? I want to watch it.
I think it's supposed to come out towards the end of this month.
Wow, I'm super excited to see that. Yeah, it's crazy because I have no idea how I'm gonna react. Like, I don't know. I couldn't do it with great whites. I don't know. I just have this like weird
block, like a block.
That's a block, but I'm super down for the tigers. Even though I don't know, tigers just look cute. Even though they might not be that
My
cute.
partner really wants to dive with white sharks, and I was like,
oh,
okay, like I'm not gonna write it off completely, but I'm not taking like any steps to go do that.
yeah.
And then another question I had for you both is, as you kind of like create your own you guys have both been like charting your own path in the ocean conservation world. Oh, my dog's joining the episode.
Aw.
As you have done that, and obviously you found Ocean Mimic both, which brought your paths together, like what were some like really big lessons and maybe pieces of advice for young women or young listeners who are figuring it out for themselves? And like, how have you decided what to specialize in? Like, was content and storytelling something you always were drawn to, or was it something else and then you like pivoted?
I'm getting teary-eyed. I don't know why. I'm just an emotional girl.
A bleeding
I
heart.
started thinking about when I met Emma. Yeah, I know. When I met Emma, she was working, she, was co-founder of Ocean Mimic, and she was running this marketing arm, working with all these ocean-related small businesses. And I remember when she called me and we talked about me working for her, I was like, I'm so excited because she was I saw her as like a mentor for me in like the ocean world. So I don't know if that's advice, but when you find someone who you feel like you could learn something from them, work for them. I don't know.
There it
I
is.
don't know. That's what I did, and that's how. But that's just what I was thinking of when you said that. I don't know what Sarah thinks.
No, I think the same, and kind of like venture out and try different things. I feel like that a lot of people would probably answer this, but yeah, I feel like I started just randomly coming across Ocean Mimic in Bali and actually cleaning the beaches with them, and then I started working from them, and from there I met so many other people, and I feel like there's always a path, and you don't really need like a perfect plan. Just find something that you're really excited about, and then just connect with a lot of people, especially in the ocean world. I feel like everyone is so welcoming. And as soon as you just like start knowing some people, there's always like a next door and a next step. And it can be daunting sometimes. Also in the content creation world, it is a little bit frustrating sometimes how there's just more money in the big corporations, and that's just what it is. And there's like so many incredible brands, and I would love to work for them, but they don't maybe have the budget yet. But I feel like we're on the verge where there's more and more businesses coming up that actually are sustainable or have like whatever, like a really good purpose behind them. So I think now is a good time because there's more and more coming, and it might be rough sometimes, but I feel like it's a good one. It's just so fulfilling to work and market something or whatever it is that you do that has a bigger purpose behind it.
I always feel like the ocean needs more marketing specialists, like honestly, because it's
We're on
something.
it. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
no, you are. It's great. It's like copywriting, design, all these skills that were never taught in a marine bio major like pathway in school, but that are like the most needed skills right now to get it out into the broader public.
Oh yeah,
That's
and
such a good point.
Yeah, and one thing that we also like a lot of people that we talk to on the Ocean podcast too, on our Ocean Stories podcast too, are not necessarily from like a marine bio background, and I think whatever skill you have, you most likely can apply it to the marine world if you want to. Like, no matter if it's marketing or we had like I think computer specialists, like data analysts, like whatever it is, there is always, even if you're in finance or if you're passionate about it, your skill is needed because the ocean needs us all our skills.
There it is. There it is.
Beautifully
Okay.
said. I'm snapping in the video.
All right. We conclude every episode with the exact same question. So I think each of you will answer it. This is actually my first time interviewing two people at once. So it's exciting.
Whoa.
Yeah, a first. So if you could put like a message on a billboard for all of the most important people and decision makers in the world to see, what would your message say? Yeah, no pressure.
Whoa.
Everyone's always like, why didn't you like tell me this one before you interviewed us that I could have thought about it? But I love hearing people's perspective to this because sometimes you just have like one shot to say something and it's like, wow, if you had to fit it on a billboard. Some people do also, like I've had some artists and they're like, I would draw something, and yeah.
I feel like I would say something like profit doesn't help you if our planet is ruined. Like
There it is.
money doesn't make any sense if our planet isn't existing anymore. So
Is it even real? Like
what's real, what's fake?
Yeah. That's awesome. What about
That's
you,
a good one,
Lydia?
Sarah. My head immediately went to I'm a sucker for quotes. And my head immediately went to thinking, okay, what's some quote about love? Because I was thinking like I would want to send some amazing message about love to the leaders because geez Louise, it's like we've just become so disconnected from like that beautiful energy that connects us all. So cheesy, but it's true. But okay, well, then I think about my favorite quote that really inspired me when I was young, but I think it was said by the founder of Apple, which I'm blanking on his name right now, Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
Which I'm not sure I don't know anything about Steve Jobs, so I don't know if I want to put his quote up on a pedestal, but I'll just say the quote for the sake of the answer. It's the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. I saw
Yeah.
that quote when I was young on the back of a t-shirt, actually. And it really shook me and inspired me, and I carried that with me for a long time. So maybe I would put that one on, but I don't know if the leaders, yeah, maybe it could inspire the leaders to like break out of the status quo and like make a change, go against the
Yes.
grain.
I'm
That's a
also
great question.
I'm like a quote person too, though, and that one hit me when I was like a teenager too, and I found it
Yeah.
for the first time, and I'm like, yeah. So those are great. Oh,
What's
thanks,
your answer
guys.
to it?
I change every day. This is why I work the way that I do, is because I can't choose one path for myself, so I have to
Mhm.
do a million different things. I think
Relatable.
I like it that way. I think it would probably be something along the lines of we had the founder of the Blue Mind come on, Dr. Jay Nichols, and he said he's like a marine biologist, a sea turtle biologist in his background, but he said all of his was like, just get in the water. Like that's all his would say, like just get in the water. And I feel like my whole perspective around this question changed when he said that, because I was like, oh, it's not about like fitting everything that you want to say into this billboard. It's about just like even sparking curiosity. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it would probably be something like you like I don't know, like you are nature, or like you are the earth, like just some like something
Ooh,
about
that's a good
reconnecting
one.
to, just because it's like we kind of what you were saying, Lydia, like we're all just like the same thing on this planet. At least that's my perspective. And so
Yeah.
if we all of the issues and conflicts that I see are all rooted in like ignoring that truth. And so I don't know, it would probably be interpreted as like illegitimate or spiritual, and then the leaders wouldn't listen. So I might have to package it differently, but something along those lines.
Damn, that's a good one.
I can tell you've had time to think about it because that
Yeah.
was a beautiful answer.
Yeah.
I've never had anyone ask me it back. Thank you.
That's the podcasters in us.
Yes,
I was
that's
like,
what
I
happens.
keep wanting to ask you
I
questions. I'm
know.
like, why is this about us
This
right
whole
now?
time I was like, I have the urge to ask so many
Okay.
questions, but
Well, okay, we're gonna do it. So you, for those of you listening, check out the Ocean Stories podcast, and then also we're about to do a podcast swap. So maybe by the time this is out, my episode with them will be out, and then you can learn about another awesome ocean podcast run by women. So thanks everybody for listening to Sustainability in the Sea, and thank you, Lydia and Sarah, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Yay.